guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build video. Today we're going to build a vampire family home. Before we get into that, a few things first. First of all, I have a sore throat, so my voice sounds a bit raspy today. I do apologize for that. I hope it doesn't cut out. This is like the third time that I'm taking this voiceover, and I hope it works out this time. But at the end of it, I did lose my voice previous times, so bear with me. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. I will be drinking tea throughout the video, so there will be pauses. Forgive me for that. We're all imperfect people, so I hope it doesn't bother you so much. Next, thank you guys so much. We have hit 35 subscribers on the channel, and I am so excited for that. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. If you have already subscribed, if you have not, please consider liking and subscribing. It does help my channel grow. It does get me out there more on YouTube and helps other people find my channel as well. But thank you so much for that. Well, okay, now we can get into the video. So I'm building a vampire home as it is October 1st. Y'all, I've taken this video or this voiceover so many times now, I don't know what I have already mentioned in this or whatnot. It is October 1st as I am recording this voiceover, and that means it's officially the beginning of spooky season in my house. My family and I, we love Halloween. We like the spooky side of it. We do not do the horror or anything. I'm a wuss when it comes to horror. I don't want to scare my kids. They're still pretty young, but we do like our little ghosty decorations and stuff like that. So we're really excited. Let me drink some tea so I don't lose my voice. Bear with me. Okay, better. So, yeah, we're building a vampire house. I made this for 3 Sims, mom, dad, and a little infant. And I'm gonna get into the story. I mean, I've mentioned before that I'm not very good with storylines because it was up to me, which it is in my game. However, I don't always want to bore you with that. If it was up to me, everything would be perfect. Every family is happy and they're doing the same thing, which is why playing the game to me is extremely boring, because there's not much to do if you play like that. Now, if you play a challenge or you play with some drama, yeah, it gets better for sure. I enjoy watching gameplay videos about that because I think some creators out there, they come up with such cool things and such cool storylines. I'm just baffled by it, by the creativity that they have to write whole scripts for their Sims. It's amazing to me. I am not that. I'm not good at that. So I rely heavily on ChatGPT for that. But for this one, I just, it's very wholesome, I think. But yes, so I have actually started doing this thing where I do create the Sim or the Sims for the houses that I'm building. So for all of the videos or the builds that I've done in previous videos, there actually is families that I have created for them that I have in my library. Now, if you're interested, I am happy to upload those to the gallery. They're not anything special. I'm not a cast whiz as some people are, but I just, I created them so that I can have somebody go in here and test the build and make sure everything is working fine. So I did create all of those. If you're interested in me uploading those to the gallery, let me know in the comments down below, and I'm happy to do that. My gallery ID is VinnasNook, VinnasNook. Check my gallery. There is a ton of stuff already on there that I have not shared on YouTube because it was before my YouTube time. And but there's a bunch of content. But yeah, if you are interested in me uploading families that I create for these builds, please let me know. This house, I was looking at a picture on Pinterest. Let me find it and I'll pop it up on the screen so you can kind of see what I was looking at. Obviously, it's not a direct replication. My problem is that I'm a perfectionist, and in my head, that means that I have to recreate whatever picture I'm looking at to the best of my ability, which is ridiculous because I'm just trying to have fun, you know? So, but I did like the front of the house. I think it's very close to what I was looking at on the picture. But you might be thinking there's a sunroom. And at first when I was building it, I was like, well, that might not make a lot of sense that there's a sunroom for a family of vampires that are going to burn in the sun. So they're probably shy when it comes to light. But I like the build and I like that sunroom as part of it. So I was thinking, okay, hold on, I have an idea. You'll see that later. There is a purpose for them having a sunroom. There is also going to be a basement that I'm going to be adding later on. I wanted to have the landscape done and the whole outside of the property because, especially if you're building on a foundation, it might actually be the same thing if you build on like a platform. Hold on, I need some tea. Excuse me. If you're building on a platform and you add a basement and it goes up to the same grid as the outer wall is or your foundation is, it lifts the terrain and it messes everything up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of see the basement come out on the side of the house, and I wanted to avoid that. So I wanted to be absolutely 100% sure that what I'm looking at or what I'm building is done on the outside, so that then I can add the basement according to the outer walls, if that makes sense. Can you follow? You'll see it when I'm building the basement. You can see that I'm kind of looking at it and I'm making it one grid piece or one square smaller than the outer wall of the house, if that makes sense. You'll see it. It's also not that important, but I'm finishing everything first and there's not yet a basement to it. That's kind of what I'm saying. But yeah, so there's a few things about vampires that I know, which is probably just two. They do not have a reflection in the mirror, which is why there's no mirrors in that house, except for one. We'll get to that in a little bit. But there's not much that I know about vampires in general. So, but I know that they don't have a reflection. And also, they don't age. And I'm not sure if that's in every, I feel like there is like different opinions about vampires. And the only one that I know is from Twilight. I've watched that movie when it came out, so don't hold me to any of that. I'm not actually 100% sure, but they didn't age, right? So his family, they moved from place to place every 5 years or 3 years or whatever, because then they wouldn't, the kids wouldn't age and that would be awkward, and they're still going to high school. So they're moving around a lot. Okay. So that's something that I was considering when I was building this. Okay. But then why would there be a graveyard? Whose graves are those if they keep moving and if this family is not settled there and is just staying there? Now, I'm not sure how exactly Forgotten Hollow works. It might just be like a realm, like other people or other Sims don't have. I mean, I know that they have access to it. I know you can go to all the worlds, but maybe it's like a safe space where vampires can just be vampires. And if they don't age, like nobody's going to be suspicious because you're around other vampires. But my thought was that the family is a very, very old family, and they've been vampires for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, and they have different properties all around the world, which might or might not be something that we can add into a save file if we ever do decide to build a save file together, which is something that I want to bring up a little bit later on as we get more subscribers on the channel. I would love to share some ideas with you guys that I have. But getting back to this build, that's why I figured maybe there is a graveyard. Now, vampires can still die, correct? I mean, what was that? You stab them in the heart, something with garlic, and you remove their upper body parts. I'm not sure what I can say here, what is not safe to say, but you know what I mean. So there is ways to end them. And so I'm assuming that some of them will need a grave at some point. So that's, if this is a family owned estate property, then those might be family members from previous generations. And also it makes it spookier. So this is a vampire build, so it needs to be spooky. So that's why. There's also a swing in the yard and a fireplace and gardening. I did plant 2 wolfsbane. Can somebody please explain to me what the wolfsbane does? I read the description and it taught me exactly nothing. It said something about it has an effect on it. What kind of effect does it have? What does it do? I don't know. So I planted 2 wolfsbane outside. There's still planters left. You're free to rip those out if you don't need them. Also, if you don't want to use this as a vampire house, you don't have to. It could just be a beautiful family home with this weird basement with caskets. So yeah, that's what I actually put in the basement. It's kind of like a crypt. Is that what it's called? A crypt? There's 2 caskets in the basement, and I tried to make the access to the basement like hidden, and I wanted to use that bookshelf door, and I tried it out at some point. I think it came with the base game, and I don't like that. To me it just doesn't look like a bookcase. It just looks flat. That one, the one that I just tried. I mean, I put it on there and then I'm like, meh. It just looks flat. It's not like 3-dimensional. It looks like a picture of a bookshelf, and I just didn't like it. And the other one that we recently got from the kit, what was it called? The Bella Goth kit? Glamorous Sanctuary or something like that? I actually don't remember. But yeah, that's 2 or 3 tiles wide, so I couldn't fit that in there. So it was a regular door. Maybe it's just locked, maybe there is some way that this door is hidden, because I imagine these vampires to not be the ones that, drink plasma from other Sims. They eat the plasma fruit. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's what they eat. Or those little juice boxes, those Capri Sun things. Plasma. How do you get them, by the way? Do you have to have a computer to order those, or how? I'm not sure how you get to those, but I think these Sims, since they have a baby, and this baby is not a vampire, okay? So she was born a non-vampire, and they want to keep options open for her. They don't want to make her a vampire. They want to have this is supposed to be her choice. At some point, if she wants to be a vampire, they're going to help her and they're going to be supportive. But if she decides to live as a human, they're also very supportive. So they want to keep up appearances for her sake. So the house is decorated as if a completely normal family lives there. Now it's a more darker vibe in there, but it kind of, as I was building it, it reminded me of this dark academia kind of design trend, which I feel like it's more, we have way more items in the game now, and wallpapers and floorings and stuff that I feel like go really, really well with the dark academia theme. So that's kind of what I was trying to go for when it came to the interior. Obviously, they don't really need a dining table, because I'm guessing you don't sit down and serve plasma fruit. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you do serve plasma fruit and you don't just rip it off the tree and eat it. But for their daughter's sake, their house looks very human, with, some items that have been passed down for generations. Maybe they're originally from Transylvania, and these are just things that they have inherited, and that's what they decorate with. And that's why it's so kind of creepy. But yeah, it's kind of dark, but set up to be very human looking. I did put a TV in here, and I try to make it look like it's just, I used the frame TV also from that Bella Goth pack, and I move objects. That's not the word. I pulled it off the wall with the tool mod so that it's hanging on the fireplace, and that kind of covers. It makes those 2 fireplaces. I use the exact same in the dining room and in the living room, and this also helped make them not look exactly identical. So that's why I put that TV up there. The whole build, I've play tested the whole build. Everything works. Now, one thing that I ran into is that he has the ability to fly places with a bat. So basically teleporting. And he couldn't teleport from the upper, or like from the main floor into the crypt. He could teleport from the crypt up, but not the other way around. But yeah, he could. Everything works. There was just like, I don't know if it's just a glitch, but he couldn't go from up to down. But he can sleep. The caskets are working. Everything is fully functional. When I first came in and I was thinking about how I wanted to furnish everything, I was not going to put appliances in the kitchen. Bear with me, because they're vampires. They don't need a kitchen. And then I thought, well, but they're trying to keep up appearances. So what if somebody comes over and they're like, dude, why don't you have a fridge? Well, that's weird. That's so weird. Why don't you have that? And then maybe their explanation was like, oh, well, we don't like to cook. We go out to eat, or I don't know. We have stuff delivered, and we don't like warm food. I don't know. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But that at first that was my thought. And then after I had already cluttered up the counter, so there were still countertops in the kitchen, and I had cluttered them up, and I figured, it's just like dry goods and stuff. So to make it look like they do have snacks and they do snack at home, but they just don't need appliances. However, then I realized, okay, I have an infant. How does vampire stuff work with an infant? And I actually didn't know, so I had to look it up. So I read that if a vampire is born, they're not going to have any vampire abilities until they're teens, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. But that means that they need to eat food, or else they will not make it. And I was like, oh, well, you need a fridge, right? So at least like finger foods for toddlers, I think. You need a fridge, correct? Or is it just the high chair? Either way, I figured they're raising a child that may not be a vampire. Maybe they don't even know yet if she's a vampire. So they need to feed her, and they cannot feed her plasma. So therefore, I did go back into the kitchen at the very end, and you'll see me moving a bit of stuff around, and I'm adding fridge, stove, period. Fridge and stove, because I already put in a sink. I also rearranged the layout a little bit because they could not go through this little gap that you can see right there. They couldn't go through it, which sometimes annoys me so much. Like, I get that it's tight, and I understand it's a game. Look, it's not reality, but sometimes I would like to make rooms smaller, but then they're not functional. Moving on from that, I was, we were talking about the kitchen. Sorry, I got distracted. So I did come back, like, after I'm cluttering up this whole countertop. And then at the end of the video, you're going to see me come back in, and I'm actually redoing all of it. I do apologize for my voice. I feel like it's getting worse, and I might not even talk through this whole video, and I might just pop on some music here in a second for you guys, but I hope it doesn't bother you too much. But yeah. So the daughter is not a vampire yet, and she might never be, and they're open to whatever she wants to do, and I've mentioned that before. You saw in the sunroom that I added like a big planter, and my thought was, since they do not do the plasma from Sims, they are growing a plasma tree in there. That's why we're having that sunroom, and that's why I thought it made sense for them to have that sunroom. So they're growing a plasma tree. If you download this from the gallery, then there will be a plasma tree planted, and there will also be the tool wolfsbane in the backyard. Excuse me. Something that I wanted to mention, and I don't know if you have downloaded builds that I've uploaded before, but I have noticed in screenshots after I'd already uploaded the videos that these new plants that we got, the ones that you can actually care for, that came with the Enchanted by Nature pack, they disappeared in some of my screenshots. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't notice it as I was taking the screenshots, but they were gone. There was just a pot left. And I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if this is a glitch in the game. I don't know if this is a thing that is caused by the gallery. I have been having issues with the gallery, period, that I'm trying to solve, but EA is just not helping. But anyways, moving on. But if you do notice that, just pop them back in. I'm sorry. I did put them in there originally, and I think in the speed build you can see that, but for some reason, some of them are disappearing. It's not always, but I have noticed it. But yeah, as you can see in the bathroom just then, I did not add a mirror. There is exactly one mirror on this whole lot, which you might have seen me put into the tower on the bottom floor. First floor tower, there is a mirror, and I chose the one from the werewolf pack because it's broken. And I figured maybe this is a mirror that was originally in the house, and then they're like, well, we don't need that. Just stuff it in there. It's kind of like I guess like a storage room because it's so tiny. But yeah, there is a mirror, but only down there. And in the bathrooms, there's just art on the walls because they don't have a reflection. So why would you have that? And then I realized, oh, the baby has a reflection. Well, she's also too young to use a mirror, so she's not going to need it. Maybe if you do play it like that, and if you do have a vampire child and a child and she grows up not to be a vampire, you can always add a mirror back in. But here, you might notice that I am using a lot of chests, and there was a thought to that. Excuse me. There was a thought to that. Like I mentioned before, if you are a vampire family and you do not want to be suspicious because you're not aging, you probably move around a lot, and those trunks were my nod to that. So they don't have a closet. They just use the trunk, and that's where all of their stuff is in. And, you know, that's why they don't have closets. And then here I added the library. If you wanted to turn that into another bedroom, you definitely could. Big enough. You can also add or change out. I'm going to put a side table in there. But if you'd rather have a desk in there, you can also do that. I just wanted to leave it as an extra room that, I don't know, makes sense because there wasn't a second kid, but I wanted there to be room for you to change it out, or you might as well, you can use it as a library for sure, but I thought it kind of fits the vibe of them. I think they're very educated. They're very academic. I mean, you know, what else are you going to do with your life if it's never ending? You probably take every single college course you can, if you can. That keeps you busy. So that's, I don't know, that kind of, I thought there was like a reason for this library to be there, and I thought that might be a good reason of why. The baby's nursery. This looks a bit tight, the crib in that little tower. It fully works. I have play tested it and it works. There is no issue. Later on, whenever your kid grows up, then it's probably not, you're probably not going to fit a bed in there. You'll fit a bed in there, but you probably won't be able to use that. But you can, you know, shift stuff around. Maybe that's an Xbox room with a gaming console, or maybe, I don't know, it's a cute reading nook, or her desk goes in there or something like that. But yeah, you can just, I thought for a nursery, it's like the cutest little thing to have the crib in that tower. And I added this cute picture or drawing from the Life and Death pack. Is that what it was called? So really quick, something that I wanted to bring up, I'm thinking about it right now. Are you guys interested in gameplay? I've mentioned before that I'm not super good at gameplay, and that I usually don't do a lot of gameplay. However, I do think it might be fun. It might make for a fun series to do gameplay and not know at all what I'm doing. There's a few challenges. There's like the tiny town challenge. I mean, look, I don't know all of the challenges. I'm not very I'm just so much into the building that I don't pay much attention to, but I do enjoy myself watching other people do gameplay. There's the tiny town that I thought was funny. I actually did attempt that challenge before. I never finished it, but I did enjoy it while it lasted. Tiny town, there is, if you really want to see me struggle, we should probably do the every lot trait challenge or the every life stage challenge. I think both of them were from James Turner. Tiny Town, I think, was created by him and Deli. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there are some fun challenges. The 100 Baby Challenge, the Not So Berry Challenge. Those are the few that I know. If you are interested in me expanding this channel and not just focusing on speed builds and adding some gameplay, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to. I would be excited to see if there is audience for that on my channel. And this is still very small. We're still a very small channel, but I'd love to grow it. So if you do want to see that, then just let me know in the comments down below. But at this point, I've done the crypt. There's going to be some differences if you do download this from the gallery. There's going to be some differences to what you see downloading or in the lot that you can download versus the screenshots that you're going to see. I had to shift a few things around to make them functional, but basically it's all the same stuff. I just had to move a few things. Like in the basement, there was the light, I think, was in the way and he couldn't get into the casket. But I will go back into the kitchen and rearrange that, like I said, and add the appliances. But that's pretty much it for the speed build version of this build. I do again want to say thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed and left likes for me. I do appreciate it. Please, if this is your first time, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would so appreciate it. And if you do want to download this from the gallery, my gallery ID is VinnasNook, VINNAS. That sounded so weird. VINNASNOOK. And you can also find me under the hashtag VinnasNook, and this build particularly under the hashtag Vampire Family Home. And those hashtags will always be in the description, and so is the information on my gallery ID, all the things that I use for these builds. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you next time in the Nook. Bye, guys.